Art Starr just had a team meeting over on the sideline during that last timeout. He had the whole Packer team up off the bench and gathered around him. Those of you that watched the Bears break their losing streak and defeat Atlanta 13-7, welcome to Mile High Stadium in Denver. Pat Summerall, the town of Brookshire, where it's 3-0. The Packers over Denver at the moment. Look at Morton out there all alone. Craig Morton. The longest Denver play from scrimmage of the day as Morton kept it, rolled out, was finally chased out by Mike Butler.
One of the great running backs in NFL history, right? He had 44 yards rushing coming in, but what a great fake. You can see Butler's already chasing Lytle and company. This is an extra effort. He's also making sure he gets out of bounds.
Yeah.
Great call.
Before this series, Green Bay had kept the ball 15 minutes, 40 seconds. Denver just over 6.5 minutes. That's how the Packers have dominated so far. They only lead at 3-0. This time Lonnie Perrin tries the left side and gets nowhere. Michael Hunt made the first hit on Lonnie Perrin.
One thing you don't want to do with a young team like Green Bay is let them build their own confidence on play in the first and second periods. Dallas really took over and sort of didn't let Green Bay move much. But Denver right now is allowing them some liberties.
About a yard is all he got. So we'll make it 2nd and 9 from their own 33. Denver in possession. Morton drops. And fires. Haven Moses. In Packer territory. Johnny Gray and Willie Buchanan.
Here's the pass to number 25, the man that really put the Broncos into the Super Bowl. Boy, what a great bunch of playoff games he had. He just curls it up. Craig Morton stepped through a sort of a crack in that defensive line and threw a real strike. And hit. Watch what number 7 has to do to get it off. Pretty good rush by Butler. Good throw.
Preston and Perrin now behind Morton. Another Denver first down as Perrin swings wide to right. Nothing doing again. Gary Weaver and Mike Butler smothered Lonnie Perrin.
Not much running room for the Broncos.
Packers have given up more yards against the pass than anybody else in the NFC. That's the way to go against them. That's the final score now. Seattle defeated Kansas City 13-10. The Seahawks up their record to 6-6. They're not out of the playoff picture either. Tough to run against Rob Lytle, the ball carrier. Dave Roller.
I tell you, the Pack on the down 4 are really playing tough right now. Ezra Johnson, number 78, is so fast. He's a 4.4 guy for the 40. There's Big Butler, the number 1 draft choice from a year ago out of Kansas. He plays the run like a mule.
Lytle comes out. Looks like he might be hurting a little bit at the moment. 84, Vince Kenny checks in for Denver. 3rd and 10. Morton spreads him out. Lonnie Perrin is the lone setback behind him. Packers are faking the blitz, and now they do. And Morton throws outside. Caught by Riley Odoms. Not quite enough for a first down. Steve Luke on the coverage.
Craig Morton threw that as soon as possible. And watch the back to your right. Perrin pick up the blitzer. Douglas, the ball is thrown early. And Odoms is one of the agile big men you'll ever see in this league. But they're short of it, huh?
But they check in with another tight end, and it looks like they're going to go for it. Bob Moore, the 8-year veteran from Stanford, checks in with Odom.
And Keyworth, too, who is an outstanding receiver from the fullback spot.
They need about 2 yards. This is a real gamble by Red Miller here. Packers are ahead 3-0. Denver driving their best of the day. Morton starts a shift. And the Packers are furious that they were pulled offside by that Morton shift.
The center might have been the call, not on the quarterback, because number 7 never put him under.
The walk-off is against Denver, and Dick Jorgensen will clarify this right now.
False start, number 7, offense, 4th down.
He did not put the hands under now, either one of them. If he did, he could not pull them away. He's going away from the line of scrimmage. Well, obviously the official did not have replay, but
Bucky Dilson enters the contest.
the official word we were just given is that you can't put your hands on your knees if you're the quarterback.
Well, where do you put him?
Guess you
Put him under the center. Out of bounds goes Diltz's punt. Stops the clock with 4.5 minutes to play in the first half. Packers still lead 3-0.
You give a man a couple of days to himself and a Black & Decker workmate, and there's almost nothing he can't do. You can pound on it, saw on it, hammer on it, and sand on it. The sturdy vice jaws do the holding for you. You can clamp on it, paint on it, cut a shape on it, drive a screw on it. There's almost nothing you can't do. When America has a job to do, it reaches for Black & Decker.
Think of all the stereo receivers out there, all the sophisticated electronics, all the heavy price tags. Not one of these receivers has all the features found in JCPenney's remarkable MCS Series 75-watt receiver. Features like a graphic equalizer with LED readouts, an FM multipath deviation meter, an LED signal strength meter. JCPenney's MCS Series 75-watt receiver. Think of it.
NFL action begins next Sunday with the NFL Today, followed by a full slate of regional games. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
Rather cool in Denver, or wherever it is we are. Look at that.
Talking to the moon.
The Packers have the first down. Turdell Middleton and Barty Smith, their setback. Their own 9-yard line. They sent Thompson in motion. Whitehurst still the quarterback, and Barty Smith is the ball carrier. Gets outside the 10.
You want to clarify that situation with Craig Morton and the hands under and all that a little bit? I'd like to know.
Well, they say he cannot put his hands under the center or on his knees because the defense can't tell.
Well, I never heard that, not being able to put him on the knees.
I hadn't either. But we were in communication with Norm Schachter from the NFL law office, and that is apparently the rule. Backup Denver defense is in there now with Paul Smith, Latimer, and Bryson Manor. The front three. That's Middleton. He gets maybe to the 14. It'll be third down for the Packers.
Pretty smart move by Stan Jones and Red Miller and company. That defense has been in there almost the whole first half, and they're going to need them in number 3 and 4.
One of the members of that defense is down, I believe, Bill Thompson. Oh, 21, Bob Swinson, the linebacker. Rob Nairn comes in to take his place.
I'll tell you who should be complimented, the entire Green Bay Packers staff and the players, for recovering from the debacle last week and playing so well, you know.
At halftime, don't forget the NFL Today with Brent, Jane, and Irv, and scores and highlights from all the other contests around the league. Highlights from the big St. Louis upset over Washington. Cardinals had lost 8 straight coming out of the post, and now they've won 4 straight.
Chicago didn't do Atlanta's playoff hopes any.
Atlanta's record after that loss to the Bears drops to 7-5. Los Angeles playing San Francisco. That game underway right now. We gave you the one score we had. The Rams were leading 7-0. Swinson to his feet. Doesn't want to come out.
The raw bone one. No, he never does.
Somewhere underneath that stack was Bob Swinson.
walls came tumbling down. Bottom right there.
There he comes. That's the final score. The Browns got it rolling. 45-24 over Baltimore. Sight through 3 touchdown passes. Here's Middleton again. He does manage to get outside, but he can't get much more going as a flag comes flying out. On the far sideline, Don Latimer chased him down.
Tommy Jackson, number 57, thinks that he was held on the outside. Could have been grabbed a little bit.
Darrell Goforth, number 57, was the guard out in front of the play.
Tell you, Turnell Middleton can move.
Got the quick feet, doesn't he?
Boy, he moves.
3 minutes and 17 seconds left to play in the first half at Mile High Stadium in Denver. The penalty is declined, and David Beverly will be punting from just about his own goal line, and Charlie West stands back ready to receive.
Might have a little breeze in his face, too. Looks like he's checking it now.
I don't imagine he'll throw out of this punt formation like he did the first time he was back there.
He better not.
Denver was trying to block that punt. This one they were trying to set up a return, and Beverly lines it in the direction of Charlie West. I don't know if that was a valid signal or not. Flag is down. He did not give a valid fair catch signal.
Well, you've got to put your hand all the way up, and you're supposed to do it as the ball before it rolls over and comes down. I think Charlie tried to pick the pocket that time. Not a bad move, though.
Walter Tullis was right down in his face, looking at West, and close enough to make him undecided on what he wanted to do.
Well, I've seen him try all kinds of strange signals to get a break. You can't blame the punt returners.
Invalid fair catch signal number 40 on the receiving team. First down.
Well, you made it sound like a mortal sin, you know?
It really was bad. Tonight on CBS, don't forget, 60 Minutes, All in the Family. Alice, Lucy comes to Nashville. That ought to be a dandy.
All right.
Dallas, where we'll be Thanksgiving afternoon. Morton back, throws outside. Riley Odoms, the big tight end, was the receiver. Mike Douglas made the tackle. Little shoving and pushing going on back between Claudie Minor and Ezra Johnson.
They've gotten to know one another well in a half of football.
They have 2:45 left to play in the first half. Packers 3. A 19-yard field goal by Chester Marcol. Denver has not been able to darken the scoreboard yet. Morton drops again and fires. Haven Moses. The Packer 40. Willie Buchanan made the first contact with Haven.
Watch Moses now. Again, Riley Odoms, the tight end, is going down and cutting across and clearing out. This guy still runs a good pattern.
21 yards on the play.
Tell you, Craig Morton's throwing the ball very well and down the middle.
21-yard pickup on that completion to Haven Moses. As Morton strolls over to the sideline, Red Miller and Bart Starr will be notified that there are 2 minutes left to play in the first half. It'll be a Denver first down, but the Packers still lead it 3-0.
Kennedy Center, showplace for classic productions. An appropriate setting for the 1979 Lincoln Continental and Mark V. Perhaps the last on this grand scale. This year there's the Collector Series, the most luxurious Lincoln, roomiest sedan in America, and a Continental Mark V with its own elegant roof design. A Collector Series Lincoln or Mark V. They'll make this year a classic.
This is one of the most advanced motor cars ever built, and it's equipped with one of the most advanced car stereos ever built. It's by Craig. Who else? A power play cassette system, AM/FM road-rated receiver with digital station readout that becomes an electronic digital clock when the radio is off. and it's designed to fit virtually anything you could drive. The DeLorean sports car is not available yet, but the Craig stereo is. Just see your Craig dealer. Who else?
There's the meeting at the summit. Dick Jorgensen, the referee, and his crew during that last timeout, checking out their records.
Craig Morton is 6 of 7 now for 86 yards.
Lonnie Perrin and Otis Armstrong behind Morton. On first down, he's going to throw, and the Packers swarm. Mike Butler and Carl Barzalauskas led that charge, the 3rd sack of Craig Morton.
And the 29th overall. This young bunch, they come. Once in a while you can fool them, and Dallas intimidated them. And I'll tell you one thing, with the linebackers filling in now, there's just not enough red shirts to go around.
9-yard loss, make it 2nd and 19 as Bart Starr checks with his staff, which include Bill Curry and Zeke Bratkowski. 13-7. And 14-7. LA over San Francisco, and don't forget, we'll keep you up to date on all the scores and the highlights at the half, which is now not far away. Morton fires complete. Jack Dalton steps out of bounds, stops the clock.
Morton got knocked down anyway. Douglas came over the linebacker and gave him a shot just to make sure he knew he was there. He hasn't thrown an interception. I'm talking about Craig Morton in over 100 throws now. That's a valuable quarterback to have playing for you.
Number 7. Third down conversions. Denver is 0 for 4. Armstrong and Perrin remain in the game behind Craig. Again, the Packers fake a blitz. And Morton finally says they are going to go through with it, and I'll take a timeout.
Not a bad time to call with, though. Denver's got to have something on the board to go in at halftime with. And I'm sure they'd rather have his number than a field goal.
Tomorrow night on CBS, Bobby Vinton's Rock and Rollers, followed by MASH, One Day at a Time, and then Lou Grant. CBS will come roaring out of the gate.
Bobby Vinton's Rock and Rollers.
That's featuring Penny Marshall, Eric Estrada, and Stockard Channing.
And Bobby Vinton, right?
Of course, Bobby. And right after that, as I said, MASH, One Day at a Time, and then Lou Grant.
Craig Morton's just been a different guy since he married lovely Susie and settled down here in Colorado, huh?
That changes a lot of things.
Two can live cheaper than one, right?
Well, that's one thing it doesn't change. I know that's not true. Third down situation here for Denver. They just used one timeout. They have 2 left. Packers have all of theirs. Denver operating from the Green Bay 36.
Riley Odom's time, number 88. Nope.
Won't be a first down. Lonnie Perrin, the ball carrier.
Think there's any pressure on Turner coming in at home? He's had sort of a what we'd call an off and on year for kicking the field goals.
I would say that's one of the kinder things that's been said about. He did come back strongly against Cleveland last week.
They're going for it,
but they're not close enough for him now. Lonnie Perrin is the lone setback, and Morton drops and throws. The rush was on again, and they will not make it. The rush by linebacker Mike Douglas, and Morton gets up rather slowly.
Watch where the linebacker hits Morton. Now remember, the right hip and back are both bothering the quarterback. I'll tell you, Douglas really gives him a good legal shot.
Mike Douglas is playing an outstanding game this afternoon. Rookie from San Diego State. 6 feet, 225. Packers are a very young team. Very enthusiastic. Marty Smith and Nate Simpson, the running backs, and this is Simpson. The draw play will get 5 or 6 before he is dragged down by Lyle Alzado.
Green Bay's kept their intensity level about as high as possible, especially on defense. And now it looks like the Packer offense has picked up because of it. There are a couple of good QBs in their time.
There are the signals from C. Bratkowski. I wonder if they really know what those mean. 3-yard gain on that first down. It's second down at the 35. Hand off Barty Smith. And Big Barty barrels up close to first down. Reuben Carter was the first Bronco to make contact. Packers satisfied just to let it keep running. That should be the last play of the first half. And Green Bay has made Chester Marcol's 19-yard field goal stand up. Those are the only points of the game so far. Looks like Barty Smith might be hurt.
All the guys that do commercials for light beer from Miller are big stars and guys like that. Me, I'm just a humble bartender, but I drink light too. And I'll tell you why. It's less filling, it's got a third less calories than a regular beer, and it tastes great.
Jerry, now that you're a big star, can I have your autograph?
Well, sure, Mr. Dangerfield.
Hey, would you like mine?
Not really.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
How about my initials?
Oh, the things people do to decide between two TV shows they want to watch. Well, now you don't have to decide anymore, because with Sony's Betamax video recorder, you can actually watch a show on one channel while you're videotaping a show on another channel. That way, you get to see both of them, so you don't have to worry about dreaming up new ways of deciding.
Okay, first one to the TV set chooses.
Nobody builds a rust-proof car, but Ford Motor Company gives you lots of kinds of rust protection. Every Ford, Mercury, and Lincoln car built in the USA is built in part with rust-resistant steel, vinyl sealer, and aluminized wax. Every car body gets sprayed with primer or dunked in primer and electrically charged. That's rust protection. That's Ford built. Ford built doesn't mean perfect. It means trying to build a better car.
Thanksgiving 1974, Dallas's Mad Bomber Clint Longley relieves injured Roger Staubach, and the Cowboys explode to a 24-23 come-from-behind win over Washington. You saw it on CBS Sports. Thanksgiving Day at 3:30 Eastern, CBS Sports presents Cowboys and Indians 1978 as the Washington Redskins do battle with the Super Bowl champion Dallas Cowboys in an NFC East showdown. The Cowboys will be gunning to avenge a 9-5 loss to the Redskins earlier this season. That's the Redskins and Cowboys Thanksgiving Day. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
Back live in New York, I'm Brent Musburger, and what was a wild playoff picture when we began this Sunday is even more scrambled. Take a look at these final scores. On the last play of the game, Philadelphia beats the Giants 19-17. The Eagles are within a game of first in the NFC East because the Washington Redskins were ambushed by St. Louis, and so the Skins are 8-4 right now. St. Louis has won 4 straight. Buffalo walloped by Tampa Bay 31-10. The Buccaneers record 5-7 on the year. Also on the last play of the game, the other New York team loses when it misses a field goal. Same score. Jets lose 19-17. In the snow in Bloomington, Minnesota, the San Diego Chargers move to 6-6. The Vikes are 7-5 after losing 13-7. Chicago breaks a horrendous 8-game losing streak. Their record 4-8. Atlanta very much in the playoff picture at 7-5. Dallas now tied with Washington at 8-4 in the NFC East. It'll be the Cowboys and the Redskins Thursday afternoon on CBS. Cleveland routs Baltimore. The Colts are without the injured Burt Jones. Cleveland's record 6-6 and the Colts 5-7. Seattle upends Kansas City 13-10. The young Seahawks 6-6. Kansas City 2-10. Now the game's working. In the second, Oakland leads Detroit 13-7. And of course, the game you're watching at the half, the Packers up by a field goal, and they need it because the Vikes lost. Los Angeles 14, San Francisco 7 in the second. Cincinnati has just kicked a second field goal, 7-6 at the half Steelers. As some of you may have heard, there's been an incident in Guyana in which an American congressman and several newsmen have been killed. We now have a special report from CBS News correspondent Ed Bradley.
This is a CBS News special report. The dead are Congressman Leo Ryan, Democrat from California, NBC reporter Don Harris, NBC cameraman Robert Brown, San Francisco Examiner photographer Gregory Robinson, and a woman who has not been identified pending the notification of relatives. 8 other persons were wounded, 5 of them seriously. It was an ambush at sundown last night at a small jungle airstrip in the former British colony of Guyana. Ryan and his party went to Guyana on Friday to investigate alleged abuses at the Jonestown headquarters of a controversial religious sect called People's Temple. They had spent the night at Jonestown and were about to aboard chartered aircraft to return with some unhappy settlers when they were ambushed, perhaps by someone among the settlers. The founder of the sect is Jim Jones, a former housing authority official in San Francisco. State Department spokesman Tom Reston held a briefing in Washington this afternoon and confirmed the news of the ambush, and he said the group had been warned before setting out.
I will say that the State Department urged caution upon Congressman Ryan, and we did, in a logistical sense, indicate to him the logistical difficulties of taking a large entourage of people into so remote an area of Guyana. So we made him aware of lack of fuel supplies, lack of vehicles, difficulty of communication, that sort of thing.
Whatever the State Department may have felt about the dangers of the trip, the Congressman's mother, Mrs. Autumn Ryan, felt otherwise.
He had no idea that this was hyper dangerous. For goodness sake, the group was entirely unarmed, and the shooting down of the 5 people who have died was surely unwarranted in any way. There was no justification in my mind, and it seems to me to be a great waste of potential ability.
A spokesman for the People's Temple sect, still in California, has disavowed any participation in the violence in Guyana. An Air Force transport plane has taken the seriously wounded to a hospital at Ramey Air Force Base in Puerto Rico. The less seriously wounded are due at Andrews Air Force Base outside Washington later tonight. Ed Bradley, CBS News, New York. This has been a CBS News special report.
And the NFL Today continues on CBS after these messages from your local stations.
Sunday on Dallas.
I'm pregnant. You may not be the father of our baby.
You tell me. Dallas, Sunday at 10, 9 Central and Mountain.
This is CBS.
Detroit has just gone ahead of Oakland 14-13 with just moments left in the second quarter in that game.
I have probably one of the most exciting plays in the game, Philadelphia and the Giants. We have the Giants with the ball on the 28-yard line with 30 seconds left in the game. And Joe Pisarcik hands off the ball, but he fumbles it. And Philadelphia's number 46, Herman Edwards, runs in for the touchdown. The Eagles win it 19-17. You see here, Brent, he didn't quite get a hold of that snap. And that's how the Philadelphia Eagles got that touchdown. Then we have a study in contrast with the coaches on the sideline. We see Vermeil with a sweet taste of victory. And then right here, the agony of defeat.
That's right, over the other sideline.
Is that how you say it, agony of defeat?
1917, the last play of the game, all Pisarcik had to do was just get down on the football, fall on it, and let time run out. The Eagles were out of timeouts, and they lost it. Meanwhile, in Soldier Field in Chicago, the Bears with an 8-game losing streak on the line. Atlanta stalking the playoffs. Here is Bartkowski getting the first score of the day. Jim Mitchell, who hasn't caught a touchdown pass since '75. Hard to believe. Now watch John James back to punt. Gets the rush. Now watch on the block because here comes Jerry Myers. Doug Beck was the one who blocked it for the Bears. Avellini in as Phipps was injured, and Harper gets down to the Atlanta 2-yard line. And here is Walter Payton, gets the call up over the top for the touchdown. 10-7 now, Chicago on the lead. And the Bears are indeed hungry. All right. And Bartkowski fumbled. Mike Hartenstein was able to come up with it for Chicago. Now watch this next sequence coming up. Here's Atlanta trying to get in. Can't do it. And that ends it as Chicago wins for the first time in 9 Sundays. And the story down in Irving, Texas, where we'll be headed on Thanksgiving afternoon for that showdown between the Washington Redskins and the Dallas Cowboys. The story this afternoon, Tony Dorsett of the Cowboys. Now watch Dorsett. This is going to trigger a fight. Face mask penalty coming up. Clarence Chapman grabs the face mask, run out of bounds in front of the Cowboy bench. And look at him jump all over Chapman. After it was broken up, New Orleans had a 7-point lead, and that seemed to spark the Cowboys. They came right back after the incident, and it was Tony Dorsett getting the call here for the touchdown. That tied it at 7. Now watch this sequence. Staubach, late in the first half, goes to Tony. Tony celebrates, but he was at the 1-yard line, not quite in. But he was okay. He didn't hurt himself when he slipped there in that last sequence. Here he is, slithering and shaking, 58-yard run down to the 11. Dorsett on the year, 1,009 yards. And, of course, the Cowboys roll over the Saints. And, Irv, the Jets played quite a game against the Patriots.
Yeah, but they came up just a little short. Of course, the Patriots came into New York today and they defeated the Jets by a score of 19-17, picking up their 9th win of the year against 3 defeats. And the Jets, of course, now go to 6-6. In the first quarter, Steve Grogan goes to the air here, and he overthrows his receiver, Burgess, and the ball's picked off by Burgess Owens. He takes the ball around the 49-yard line and slithers upfield along the left sideline. Looks like he's going to break free, but number 14, Grogan, tackles him at the 1. The Jets later scored and led 7-0. Grogan comes back to the air again, this time hitting Stanley Morgan. He goes down to the 19-yard line. A few scores exchanged. The score is tied 10-10. New England with the ball again. This time, Horace Ivory going over his right tackle, gets in for the score, 16-10, New England. Matt Robinson substituting for Richard Todd, who injured his shoulder, throws a bomb here to Wesley Walker. He goes in, and the Jets take a 17-16 lead. Here's the field goal, Brent. Missed, and that's where it ended. The New York Jets going down, the New England Patriots, 19-7.
I still find it fascinating that both New York teams lose on the last play of the game by the same score, 19-17. What's the mathematical probabilities on that? Right now, let's send you back to Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado, and here's Pat Summerall.
The Packers lead the Denver Broncos 3-0. A 19-yard field goal by Chester Marcol is the only scoring of this contest so far. It was set up by a pass from punt formation by the punter David Beverly.
Oh no! My blind date's early. Whew. You sure didn't spend any time getting dressed. Linda, tell him I'll be there in a minute. Maybe he'd look better in Hager slacks. Or a Hager sport coat and slacks. He could even afford a Hager vested suit. And that's a look I can't afford to pass up.
Oh,
Hi.
Susan?
Close enough. For me?
Hager, because looking good makes you feel good.
Ready or not, here I come.
Ever need to rent a car fast?
Nobody does it better. Hertz leads the others by far. Nobody does it faster for you. Hertz, the superstar.
Nobody has more of what it takes to get you into a new LTD or other fine car faster.
Hertz, the superstar.
That's my team, the Green Bay Packers. And I'm Chester Marcol. Come with me to a special part of Wisconsin. This is Indian country, where the Dakotas and the Iroquois used to live. It's beautiful land, filled with streams and lakes. Here at the Milwaukee Public Museum, you can see how the Indian used to live. The culture of a people is one of the richest heritages you can preserve. But being relatively new to America, I know that sometimes heritage isn't enough. You also need to adjust and change. That's why our United Way and the Milwaukee Indian Health Board are determined to help Native Americans get good jobs, good health care, and good housing. They know you can't bring back the old ways, but you can make the future a lot better. The United Way works in Wisconsin. It works in your town, too. Thanks to you, it works for all of us. The United Way.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. Craig Morton begins to loosen for half number 2 in Denver.
Big stat there is in that left column. Denver with only 25 offensive plays, and Craig Morton's offense was 0 for 6 on third down conversions.
Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire and the usual sellout crowd at Mile High Stadium in Denver. 75,000 or thereabouts.
They have to close it off in about June because the people would actually buy out the whole stadium.
Lonnie Perrin goes back along with Bernard Jackson as Chester Marcol with the gloves on.
Packers rushed for 81 yards against that Denver defense. He's got a new hairstyle, Chester has.
Yes. I didn't hardly recognize him last night.
Looked like a psych major. He had glasses on. I couldn't believe it.
Here's Chester Marcol in the kick. The liner will start the second half. It's one of the linemen up in the wedge. Godwin Turk, the ex-Jet linebacker. Protected it well, and Denver will operate with the line of scrimmage their own 33 in the first offensive series of the second half.
Moses 3 for 56, Dolben 2 for 26, and Riley Odoms held to 2 catches for only 14 yards. They've got to get that ball to number 88.
The Broncos snap out of the huddle. Craig Morton still the quarterback with Rob Lytle and Lonnie Perrin behind him. Lytle 41, Perrin 33. First down, Broncos. Lytle. Dave Roller, the Packer tackler, the first hit.
Great block by number 88, Riley Odoms. That time he took on Ezra Johnson and stood him up and really stayed with his blocks. Oh, he's working on Douglas, the linebacker. Watch this now. Watch the effort. He's trying to get the angle to this outside and continually battles him. Of course, when you're 6'4 and a half, 240, you can do those kind of things. Good effort.
Steve Schindler out in front of Lytle as the Broncos continue to shuttle their running backs back and forth. And Morton steps up into the pocket and throws wide outside. Riley Odoms near the 50-yard line before he's tackled by Steve Luke. Looked like Morton couldn't find him for a long time.
I didn't see him at all. I thought he was throwing the ball away for a minute like he was throwing it out of bounds. Craig is now 8 of 10. Let's watch the protection. He's having to step up. They're doing a good job of taking people by him. Neville that time cleared him. And there's the big man. That's like throwing to a grain elevator.
Morton 8 out of 10. Tom Brookshire just told you. It's a first down, Broncos at the 50. Lonnie Perrin lowers the shoulder and lunges into the middle of the line. Packers have been tough against the run. Don't forget, Tuesday and Wednesday nights, Pirate, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central and Mountain. Franco Nero heads the all-star cast in a special 2-part CBS movie spectacular of Harold Robbins the Pirate.
Story of beautiful women.
Oil-rich deserts.
Take either one. Appeals to you.
How about a kidnapping that shook the world? That's all on the Pirate. Sounds attractive. Morton under pressure, but he finds Moses, who swings back to the other side. And Moses to the 20, run down from behind by defensive lineman Ezra Johnson. Watch Johnson catch him.
Can he run? That time, Luke, the safety man, will blitz. Watch number 46 come across. Now you're watching the move by Haven Moses, and you're right. He is the clutch receiver for big ones. Takes it back to the outside. Now watch number 78 at 240 pounds catch him in a hurry.
A 31-yard pickup. First down, Denver.
Boy, Morton really stayed in there and threw that one, didn't he?
We come back live now as Morton has had to ask for quiet. He fakes to Perrin. He gives to Perrin. Perrin cuts back back to the inside. Ezra Johnson again, the tackler.
Ezra Johnson's been injured really for about the last 3 weeks. He had a groin injury where he'd been hit with a helmet, and I think last week against Dallas he really was subpar.
Steve Schindler is heading for the Denver Bronco locker room. His place has been taken in the offensive line by Glenn Hyde, and they have really been hurt in the offensive line. There he goes.
Schindler's had a sort of an abdominal pulled muscle too, which is a very painful thing when you're using legs like that.
Craig Morton on 2nd and 8. He fakes this time to Lytle. Steps up and fires. It's caught. A touchdown catch by Haven Moses. Willie Buchanan was the closest Packer, but the diving, sliding catch by Haven Moses.
And give the offensive line a lot of credit because Craig Morton waited and waited and waited for number 25 to clear. Watch how much time. Maples and Neville. Now he waits. Now watch to the left part. You'll see Haven coming over. Boy, he makes sure he gets his back and everything under the ball, doesn't he? Third touchdown catch for Haven Moses.
Another 100-yard day for him as well. Jim Turner back to black high tops. Splits the uprights in Denver. Scores their first points of this afternoon and take the lead over the Green Bay Packers by the score of 7-3 with 11:20 left in the third quarter.
Darn, I forgot to put in Prestone. Take out the old, put in the 2. Put in the Prestone, Prestone 2.
Protect against freeze-ups and corrosion. Take out old, weak antifreeze and put in America's most trusted antifreeze, Prestone 2.
Take out the old, put in the 2. Put in the Prestone, Prestone 2.
And when you flush your cooling system, use Prestone Super Flush.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of
Frank
special.
wearing the trout yet?
No, but we're ready.
Okay, you guys, knock it off. I don't believe it. And a little something to go with it.
Lowenbrow.
Lowenbrow. And you guys don't deserve it, but my trout does.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Well,
Frank, we apologize. The beer's terrific.
Thanksgiving Day at 3 p.m. on CBS Sports. See Jack Party's Washington Redskins knock heads with Tom Landry's Dallas Cowboys. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
25.
35 degrees was the temperature when game started. Now it's dropped, we're told, down to 30. Brisk in Denver. They've turned on the lights. Touchdown pass from Morton to Moses.
That was Morton's 6th touchdown pass of the season, too.
Defending AFC champions are in the lead for the first time. Monty Perrin will kick off. And it will be Speedy Steve Odom operating from his 5. Slips a couple of tackles. Gets out to about the 28 before Morris Harvey. Thanksgiving Day, a family sports special here on CBS. The Moscow Circus, the Calgary Stampede, and the International Women's Gymnastics. All Thursday begins at 1 p.m. Eastern Time.
You want to see a stampede, watch the Denver defense right now. Hello, my dear. But this is going to be a tough series for them.
That Denver defense is just the way it started the game, with the exception of Swinson, the linebacker. This place has been taken by Rob Nairn. A flag is down already.
Like Rizzo went over and touched the center and said McCarron had moved. They're going to call Rizzo, the linebacker, for making the move.
Packer backs. Here it is.
Defense.
It's McCarron, the center. He hasn't moved anything yet. Tag, you're out.
That'll make it 1st and 5 for the Packers.
That's some of the weirdest calls, haven't we?
That's the first one I've seen like that. Whitehurst gets straight ahead to Barty Smith, who got 3 or 4. Packer backs Middleton and Smith. We saw Barty Smith. We thought injured one of his legs on the last play before the end of the first half, but apparently they got it taken care of.
Pony Express is doing that just to keep warm, I think. You know, they've been active the entire game.
And it's 30 degrees and falling.
How do those hands feel out there right now? I think they're a little glassy, maybe?
Really, it's the first cold weather we've had this year. What we saw of San Diego and Minnesota looked like it was chilly. Missed the handoff, I think. And Middleton is taken down by Nairn.
I think you're right. I think actually Whitehurst wanted to hand off or fake a drive series. Let's see what happens on this. Barty Smith had to pick up Chavis. Pretty good option play, but I'm not sure Turdell wanted the ball that time.
Nobody back there with him.
Give it to Dynamite.
That'll make it 3rd and 4. Packers operating from their own 30-yard line. Middleton has it bounce loose. Tom Jackson was close to him. He had it.
Jackson, he's just too darn quick, Pat. That time you can't, a defensive back couldn't cover it as well as a linebacker did.
Again, the roar of the feet pounding on the stadium as Red Miller greets his troops.
You know, Jackson was hurt last week against Cleveland. He had an awful injury to his mouth where a tooth was shoved clear up into his sinuses.
I saw that collision.
Oh.
I didn't figure he'd be back for a long time. Beverly waits again. Look at this. Finally kicks. He waited. Flag is down. They probably had a lineman illegally downfield as long as he waited.
Broncos didn't keep him honest at all. He could actually have run behind a couple of them and come on down the field.
Could have. He could have gotten the first down, no question about it. He's already burned him once today with that pass.
He could become a triple threat operator in this game. Godwin Turkins helping the officials get this all straightened out.
Member of the special teams and a backup linebacker, Dick Jorgensen.
Ineligibles downfield, number 66 and several others. Offense, 4th down.
Wonder why he picked him out.
And several others, I love it.
There's Greg Cook. He is 66. Beverly back again, and this time they'll contain him. Oh, good kick. Charlie West. Whirls straight ahead to the 45-yard line. Stopped by Paul Rudzinski. 41-yard punt by David Beverly, and the Broncos take it over with 9:20 left to play in the 3rd quarter, and they lead 7-3.
I'd like to show you how science helped create a new Mercury Marquis standard of driving comfort for '79. The most scientifically engineered Marquis in history and most beautiful. Computer-assisted design makes Marquis more spacious. No car in its class has higher ratings for room or trunk space. A new steering ratio makes Marquis more responsive. Even Marquis' ride has been re-engineered. Corners flatter, takes dips and bumps with greater stability. Test Marquis' new standard of driving comfort yourself.
If you've ever wondered how something so big got off the ground, part of the answer is light, strong aluminum. Aluminum's high strength and light weight made modern aviation possible. Aluminum is important to most forms of transportation because taking the weight off planes and trucks, and now cars, saves fuel. Aluminum in transportation can be an energy saver today.
We can't wait for tomorrow. Alcoa can't wait.
Broncos out of the huddle in a hurry. First and 10, their own 45. Rob Lytle and Lonnie Perrin behind Morton. He starts Moses in motion and gives to Lytle. And Lytle breaks breaks for about 8 yards before, again, the Packers secondary makes the tackle led by Gary Weaver.
I wonder what Red Miller told this team at halftime, because they've really picked it up. And right now, advantages to the Orange. They're popping off the line on both ways, offense and defense. Good blocking here. Look how he's taken through the hole. That's Paul Howard that led him through.
Lytle checks out. Dave Preston goes in. Preston for a Bronco first down. Straight up the middle. Dave Roller. Packer on the bottom of the stack.
Looked like Glenn Hyde took him through there. He's playing left guard now that Schindler's gone. Watch Hyde, who is in playing guard. As we've said, they've had to do a lot of makeshift preparations in the offensive line. He does a good job on the trap of the linebacker.
Lytle is back in. And cuts near the 30-yard line. Ezra Johnson had to make the stop. But Lytle has another Denver first down.
Lonnie Perrin made a great block too, Patrick, to get him out there.
Detroit 14, Oakland 13. Third quarter now.
Wow.
And Los Angeles has moved out to a 21-7 lead in the third quarter over San Francisco, and Pittsburgh by 1 over Cincinnati at the moment. First down Denver at the 30. Perrin for a couple. Barzalauskas on the tackle.
At least he's got his coat on
Yep.
now. Do you think he was cheating and had thermal underneath that sport coat all the time?
Not Bart, no.
I'd have had a fur coat on, I'll tell you that. Live.
It's second down now for Denver as Haven Moses splits out wide to the right. Dalvin comes left. Lytle back in as a running back, I believe. And Lytle has it. He is near another Bronco first down.
Boy, Tom Neville got a great block. The old offensive tackle who's found new life really here in Denver. Watch number 76 to the right of your screen get out. He'll tell you the story.
That's a fine effort. Steve Luke was the victim of that block.
Remember, the Green Bay secondary is again having to make a lot of tackles.
Third down looks like about 3.5. They have not converted a single time today on third down as Morton. Some confusion in the Denver huddle, and Craig Morton uses a timeout. The Broncos driving, however, and with 6:11 left to play third quarter, they lead 7-3.
Wherever you may roam, you'll find this near your home.
Oh, hi, it's me again, posting and pasting more posters. This time it's for the first annual Delco battery sale. AC Delco is making it possible for you to buy a Freedom battery at a special sale price.
Thanks, Delco.
Wherever you see this poster, look for it in your neighborhood for a great price on a battery you can trust. Thanks, Delco. Well, you'll be saying thanks, Delco, too.
Such a simple miracle. In every glass of Gallo Premium wine, like Hearty Burgundy, you can see the sun because Gallo cares. In every glass, you can see the good earth because Gallo cares. In every glass, the round and lovely grape because Gallo cares. You can see and taste the care that Ernest and Giulio Gallo take. Go with the good wine. Go with Gallo Hearty Burgundy.
Next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular, see highlights of the LA Times 500, plus the world's strongest men competition. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
Just no way they can be warm. Third down. And 2 from the 22. Perrin trots out in motion. Lytle will have the first down And does. The Broncos' best-looking offensive drive of the day, Johnny Gray, had to make the stop.
And Bobby Moore, 87, the other tight end, made a super block on the line of scrimmage to get him outside. Left side of your screen, action. In the afternoon at Denver, Colorado. Well, they're getting out in front in good shape. So is Claudia Minor, the tackle. Look at that block.
That's the first time the Broncos have been able to convert on third down today. First and 10 Denver is Morton. Gives to Preston.
Oh!
And Preston with a fine second effort. It's finally stopped by Johnny Gray, but he got inside the 10 with that backward lunge.
Boy, he's going to get up slow because he ran right into Ezra Johnson, helmet to helmet. And he gives away about 45 pounds. That was some contact.
He might have injured his leg.
Check it out. Right part of your screen, you'll see 78 loom up. That's Ezra. Look at this. Oh, that's some contact.
2 or 3 times. Rob Lytle goes back in. That was a 4-yard pickup. Here is Larry Canada. Down to about the 6.
225-pounder out of Wisconsin, who might not know all the plays yet, but he is really going to be a good running back. He's extremely strong.
And very quick, too. Michael Hunt made the stop on Canada. It'll be third down. They need to go just past the 5 to pick up a first. John Keyworth is in the game now, along with Canada.
Watch where Morton's hands are.
Rob Lytle also there. Keyworth over on the right side. That's Canada. He got inside the 5, stopped by Mike McCoy. He may have a Bronco first down.
Canada hasn't carried the ball a lot this year, but he's produced. In 60 shots, he was averaging over 4.5 yards per pop.
He got the first down. It'll be first and goal, Denver.
Miller had to do something to this team at half. He'll shout at you once in a while, you know, to get your attention.
They do look a lot sharper, don't they? First and goal from the 4. Broncos lead 7-3. Touchdown pass from Morton to Moses. It's to Lytle. He will not get in. He got a yard perhaps, but Steve Luke was the first man to make contact along with Michael Hunt. Got a couple, maybe. Bob Moore and John Keyworth go in with a play for Morton.
Keyworth sometimes slots off Riley Odoms in a situation like this. He played split receiver at Colorado when he was at school. He isn't bad.
They need 2. Lytle got it. Lytle might be shaken a little bit. That's his first touchdown of the year.
The whole team, though, will join this young man. He's had a bad ankle most of the season. But I'll tell you, by this time, everybody's playing a little bit hurt. Everybody has an ankle or a knee or perhaps a rib or a back that hurts. This is in close. I'll tell you, he's a tough back. Packers don't give you anything, do they?
Nope. Lytle took it anyway. Jim Turner makes it 14-3. And the Packers got to open it up a little bit very shortly. Long time since Whitehurst has been in the game. 2:46 left to play in the third quarter, and Broncos lead at 14-3.
Nobody decides to be a drummer.
Ralph, please.
You just find yourself drumming.
Ralph, please.
It doesn't make you instantly popular.
Ralph, please.
And no one asks you to play their favorite tunes.
Ralph.
please.
But with endless practice and fanatical persistence,
Help, please.
you'd get there. Your drumming isn't just noise anymore. And you're not the only one who thinks so. When a lifetime of work has gone into playing a piece of music, Pioneer thinks you should hear all of it. So we design our high-fidelity components not to add anything or take anything away. That's why we've become #1 today with people who care about music. Pioneer, we bring it back alive.
What do you call that?
Well, I don't know, but just think you could be working with an animal instead of me sometimes. I got a dog bigger than that thing, you know?
Penalty. A little scuffling going on. On the extra point, a personal foul was called against Denver, and they'll kick off from the 20-yard line.
It was Alzado, number 77, and he's just opening a youth rehabilitation home down in Pueblo, Colorado. He's very active. They tell me when he talks to young people, listen, listen.
Who was he trying to rehabilitate on the extra point?
I think linebacker Weaver of the Green Bay Packers.
They'll kick off from the 20. And Steve Odom will be back at his own 15. This is like kicking off after a safety.
I'll tell you, Odom's been threatening to break one of these. He's had one run back for 95 yards against Seattle. He started that big win for Bart Starr's team. He's been threatening now for the last 3 weeks.
Very close. Lonnie Perrin will kick off for Denver. We have 2:46 left to play third quarter. And the Broncos lead the Packers 14-3. A liner is fielded by Green Bay, and they will have excellent field position.
That was some ricochet shot, wasn't it?
I'd say it was. Perrin just lined it into one of the up linemen close to him. Number 51 is Jim Gano. He was the one who protected the football. And the Packers take over on the Denver 33. What a spot to operate from.
You think Whitehurst might go up topside right away?
I would think he has to very shortly. And he might as well do it right away. At the 32, first and 10 Green Bay. Barty Smith, Curdell Middleton, the setbacks. Caught by Middleton down the far sideline to about the 14 before he is knocked out of bounds by Rizzo, and Middleton might be hurt.
He's been playing hurt the whole time. He's had a bad foot and a bad leg. He made some catch of that because the linebacker just closed on that, and it's a tough catch. Now on Whitehurst, he wants to go to Lofton, who's gone a little bit deeper at about the 15-yard spot. He starts to do it, jacks it a little bit, and then goes right to the outside. A good ad lib here by the quarterback. And an excellent catch. Let's see if we can see where the contact was.
There's a Middleton still down on the far sideline. There's a guy down just beneath us. It's 30 degrees. I'm a little worried about him. Middleton is up and walking now as the Packers replace him with Nate Simpson, who swings around to the outside, but he'll go nowhere. Lewis Wright, the fine cornerback, made that stop.
Of course, Lewis wasn't even supposed to play today, and he's made about 3 of the finest tackles you can make. He's got a bad ankle. Watch the left part of your screen. Let's see where the play breaks down, or if it's just a really incredibly good defensive stop here. Barty goes to work on Swenson. Man, that's a good tackle. Young people watch how the real good ones do it.
Whitehurst is just 3 out of 8 passing on the day. If he has time, here will come attempt number 9. Lawson, a diving effort, almost hung on, but couldn't. Lewis Wright on the coverage, but Lofton is a fine athlete.
Here's a young man that can, as we said, long jump over 26 feet on the Olympic track team. Watch this leap for the ball. It doesn't count, but it's something to watch. Well, that is body control. It's like Dr. J.
So it'll be third down, Green Bay. They need 14. They're operating from the 17. 14 for a first. Or 15.
Whoa!
Radishar.
Oh!
Nailed Nate Simpson.
The #1 draft from Ohio State got away with it, and there was just a moment when the officials started to make a call, and Radishar looked him right in the eye. It's a super play, don't get me wrong. He's the right lower part of your screen. He makes contact just as the ball is either there or almost there. That's timing, huh?
Even got his arm in there. Knocked the ball loose. Watch his left arm.
Good play.
Chester Marcol with Bobby Douglas holding. 35-yard effort. No good. He missed it to the right. Denver holds on defense.
This place is alive, huh? Looked like they got a lot of pressure on him right up the middle, too. Tommy Jackson and Reuben Carter came right up the pipe.
Marcol leads. Larry Canada and Otis Armstrong line up behind Morton. And that's Otis. Had some outstanding years here. In years past, Mike Douglas made the tackle.
Otis Armstrong does not fumble the football. If you give it to him late, he'll come back with it.
Armstrong comes out now. Just a little bit over a minute left to play in the third quarter. Dave Preston, who was shaken up earlier, is back in the backfield now behind Morton as Moses goes in motion. It's Preston. Close to a Denver first down before Ezra Johnson of the Packers takes him down.
Canada, the big running back, got a good block.
There will be big doings here on CBS on Thanksgiving morning. 3 hours of parades from 5 cities, hosted by 10 of your favorite CBS stars. Craig Morton comes over and checks a little bit with the officials. Thanksgiving Day parade, which has been such a tradition for such a long time on CBS. So don't miss it.
Parades and turkey and football, and the family all gets together, right? That's Thanksgiving.
Except yours and mine, and the Cowboys and the Redskins.
Don't forget, you're bringing the turkey to Dallas, and I'm bringing the stuffing, or whatever we call it.
I won't forget. Remember, one year we had a turkey in the Dallas broadcast booth, and while we were talking, somebody ate it. 21-14, the 49ers get a little closer. Paul Hofer scored a second touchdown of the day. But the Cowboys and the Redskins meet on Thanksgiving Day here on CBS. Game time in Dallas is 2:30, 3:30 in the East it'll be. And where they have our friends Brent and Irv and Jane there with us.
It'll be fun. That's always a great game.
Yep. Preston, still one of the running backs, along with Canada. And Big Larry Canada has the first down for Denver. Mike Douglas made the tackle, but the Broncos in the second half have looked like an entirely different ball club.
Right off Paul Howard, watch number 60. It's a cross block with Neville. And I'm telling you, Canada is full out from the first step on. And he is big, folks, about 225. Paul Howard's playing with a vest on. He had a cracked sternum, which is like your breastbone. He's playing with like a bulletproof vest on and doing very well.
Opened up a big hole in. That's the end of the third quarter with the score Denver 14, Green Bay 3. We now pause for a word from your local station.
Be watching as a dedicated newspaper editor takes an eye-opening look at what life in a ghetto school is really like when the Reverend Jesse Jackson makes a surprise appearance in Lou Grant tomorrow night on CBS.
Start your Sunday evening viewing with 60 Minutes, then a fight to the finish over money on All in the Family. Next, Mel's Thanksgiving runs afoul of the law on Alice. Then Lucy comes to Nashville and on Dallas.
You may not be the father of our baby.
You tell me. It all starts at 7, 6 Central and Mountain.
Care for a few used items? Shoe, brush, or something?
Must be a vendor nearby. That's actually behind the Denver bench.
Like the general store. First down. Larry Canada and Dave Preston in the Denver backs end. That would be Canada. He breaks a couple of tackles, runs over one of the officials, and now he has finally stopped and herded back toward the line of scrimmage. As a flag on the play.
Dave Roller thinks he was being held, a big defensive tackle, and the flag was dropped pretty close to the Packer. Talk about some statistics that mean something. Denver had 79 yards rushing in the third period, 55 yards passing. The Pack had -3 rushing and 19 yards passing.
As you said, Rhett Miller let his wishes be known at the half. There's that guy. Look at the other one.
Is that?
Holy smoke.
Offense, still first down.
Here's that last play with Canada, the strong runner. And you can see the left-handed flip of the flag by the official there.
But still first down for Denver as Otis Armstrong swings it down to the outside. Who is really hit? Steve Luke and Johnny Gray, I believe. Oakland 20, Detroit 14 in the third quarter. The Lions starting to play a lot better in recent weeks. Just trying to keep warm and listening to something.
I think the old barometer is heading down, or is it up? I'm not sure, but it's getting colder, I think.
Whatever. The thermometer's going down.
That's right.
It's about 30 degrees now. Lights have been on for quite some time, and you can tell just watching the players breathe that it's getting cold. That would be Canada again. This time, nothing doing. Mike Douglas and Michael Hunt.
Two young linebackers for Green Bay have played extremely well. You know it, as sophisticated as the defenses are. Talking about Anderson and Hunt.
And Mike Douglas has done well too. That's the penalty story today. Out comes Preston. And there's some rather unusual fans.
Did he say hi, Mom?
Yeah, they always do. We're number one.
Want to see her?
I don't know in what. Morton drops and throws for Dalvin, and he has it. Mike McCoy on the coverage, but Morton's strike gives him a first down.
Dalvin's not a big fella. He's 5'10", 180 pounds. He's to the right now. You watch the zone blocking by that Denver offensive line. Kid from Wake Forest is a sticker, though. He made sure of the catch.
Made sure he got both feet down. And as a result of all that, the Broncos have a first down. Craig Morton has been criticized by many in recent years, but he's thrown the ball extremely well today. They're in Packer territory at the 47, and Morton is going for the bundle. Looks outside of Preston, who slips down. Tries to get back up, finally does, and is down by Dave Roller.
Pass is complete to Preston and gets to the 45-yard line.
Roller came all the way from the interior line where he was rushing Craig Morton. I guarantee he'll shake it off. He's tried to play football everywhere, had he? Giants, Canada.
Fourth quarter score, not much action there. Pittsburgh 7, Cincinnati 6 as Roller goes out. Terry Jones, the youngster from Alabama, comes in.
Dave's the one that nicknamed them the Gang Green, I think, for their defense.
Safety man sneaking up for the Packers, and the blitz is on. Or was. And it's successful as Mike Butler takes Morton down. That's the 4th sack of the day by the Packer defense.
Oh, Craig should never do that. Susie almost fainted. This is supposed to bring somebody into the inside. Look at, is that Big Butler or Barber there? That's Mike Butler with help from Gary Weaver, 2 of the vociferous enemy.
So it'll be 3rd down Broncos. Back to the 50-yard line now.
Did your quarterbacks ever run with it? Did Charlie Cotterley ever bootleg or anything?
Very rarely. I don't even think he thought about it. I know your quarterback, Van Brocklin, didn't. A flag goes down as Morton throws to Moses. He had enough for the 1st down, but it's going to be holding against Denver. There is another flag down here.
2 flags. The one on the line of scrimmage was early. They'll both have to be considered.
And the crew will get together.
Holding 71, offense, personal foul, 46, defense, offset, replay, 3rd down.
They replay.
Nice looking couple, aren't they?
It's a full barrel.
That was Ezra Johnson that was being held, the fine young defensive right end. Claudia Minor just had to go ahead and grab him. And I couldn't see what Luke did, the safety man. He's such a tough hitter. That even might have been accidental, and that's no kidding.
Craig's had a good day. Moses comes right. Lines up outside Riley Odoms. Dalvin is left, along with Preston. Dave Roller, who had checked back in the game, is going to claim that he was pulled offside, but I don't think that's going to work.
Looked like he did sort of a ballet move.
Yeah.
And then once he got into the splits, he couldn't get out.
What's this by Roller?
Watch to the right of your screen now. You'll see.
Offside, number 74, defense, still 3rd down.
That's got to hurt a little bit.
Roller gives you everything, and that number, you know, used to be worn by Henry Jordan, the late Henry Jordan that played for Mr. Lombardi, and there's a lot of tradition on that Packer bunch.
What a tackle he was.
That's for sure.
3rd and 8. From the Denver 45. The Packers do not blitz this time. It's a regular rush. Mike Douglas takes Morton down and out of bounds. It goes. Douglas very quick. Jack Dalvin, the intended receiver.
This is the situation in pro football. It's causing all the clamor about hitting the quarterbacks and all. When the quarterback rolls out like this, somebody's got to give him the right to throw the ball away early enough so that they don't keep taking a run at him.
See what happened to Dave Roller on the last play, 74.
Onside this time. Now he's heading across the line of scrimmage. He's being sandwiched in there. It's got Bobby Maples trapped too.
Hyde cut him down.
That's a takedown, isn't he?
Bucky Dilts will kick for Denver. Steve Odom standing back at the 15 for the Packers. Dilts trying to go out of bounds with it. Odom takes it at the 20. Might have lost it momentarily. And let's see. No, it's Packer ball. That's Odom, I think. Broncos are very close when he handled that punt. And he paid. 14-3. Denver leads the Pack.
When you farm your own land, the work never ends. But you do it with pride and all the strength you can muster. But now comes Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find. America's quality beer, Miller High Life.
When it's time to relax, one beer stands clear. Beer after beer. If little cats from Lincoln Mercury are tough on competition. Starting with October 6th production, our Bobcat has more standard equipment than last year. And Bobcat's sticker price, as shown, is $38.40. Yet comparably equipped, it's $181 less than a 78. Great, Bobcat. Our Monarch has handsome styling, luxuriously equipped, and it's right engineered. Monarch's price, just $45.58. That's class, Monarch. You'll find big values at the sign of the little cat.
Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire at Mile High Stadium in Denver, where the Broncos lead the Packers 14-3. Green Bay has the football. Bob Swinson back in the defensive lineup for Denver as Whitehurst will throw deep. Lofton has it, slips out of one tackle, jumps over another. What a marvelous athlete. Bill Thompson finally made the tackle.
He ran the deep post pattern, and this time Whitehurst gets a lot of time and sets up, throws a real strike. Now watch how he doesn't look for anybody till he puts it away. Boy, now he's really smooth. This is a glider. As we said, an Olympic track person that can play football very well.
It'll be at the Bronco 40 after that pass completion. From Whitehurst to Lofton, who split wide left this time. And he's going to throw. Whitehurst trying to throw and does to Rich McGeorge. McGeorge tiptoes down the sideline to about the 15 before he goes out of bounds. Bernard Jackson ran him out.
There's a lot of time left in the game, and the Packers look like they're really picking up their offensive tempo now. Whitehurst, a big kid from Furman, appears to be more poised now than in the first half. Watch him reload it and now run with it. Number 81 is a good safe target in this situation. A lot of time left.
10 minutes and 42 seconds left, in fact. Los Angeles has gotten another touchdown, and they lead San Francisco 28-14. That game also in the fourth quarter. First down, Packers. Middleton back in the game, swings around to the outside. Bernard Jackson, number 53, Randy Gradishar, tacklers for Denver.
Stokes got out in front of Turdell in pretty good shape that time. Watch the good block on the cornerback now as Louis comes up trying to do his job. Louis right, dips around, allows his blocker to set him up. Turdell can run, huh?
5 yards on that play, make it 2nd and 5 from the 11. And again will be Middleton. This time not much. Middleton by Joe Rizzo. Linebacker played it well.
Came out of the Merchant Marine in 1974, and Rizzo signed as a free agent. That's when some players were on strike, and Joe Rizzo wanted a job. He can play it, too.
Whitehurst is 5 out of 12 for 84 yards. San Francisco popped right back with a touchdown. It's 28-21 now in the fourth quarter. Middleton goes out. Walter Tullis comes in. He's split wide left. Whitehurst is going to run. And down he goes. Without much gain. Randy Gradishar made the tackle on Whitehurst.
And I believe Rizzo helped him out, the two linebackers. And this is not a scramble. This is an intentional play. It's a quarterback draw. They get Alzado inside. It looks like it should open up, but watch what happens against this 34. There they come.
Chester Marcol. Whitehurst is upset about something. Marcol in the game with Bobby Douglas holding. Douglas, of course, is a quarterback as well. And Marcol misses. Two short misses by Chester Marcol have hurt the cause of Bart Starr and the Packers. And The score remains 14-3, Denver.
Is your gas doing everything it could for your car? Be sure with STP gas treatment, because it really helps. To keep a carburetor clean, fight rust in the fuel system, it even helps get water out of your gas tank. And it's easy to use. STP gas treatment, it really helps, so try it.
Yeah, for my car, it's STP.
There are lots of batteries out there making all kinds of claims, performing all kinds of demonstrations. We simply say this: the J.C. Penney battery is so powerful, it's warranted for as long as you own your car. If it ever fails to accept and hold a charge, return it with proof of purchase. We'll replace it free. And it never needs water, ever. It's the last battery your car will ever need.
NFL action begins next Sunday with the NFL Today, followed by a full slate of regional games. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
Chester Marcol, of course, is number 13, a very dejected young man right now.
Now watch the defense on the special teams for Denver doing the side straddle hop. I think that's Bernard Jackson, the safety man. For whatever, Marcol just missed it right. Not easy being a kicker, is it, Patrick?
Not when you miss. He has missed from 25 and missed from 27 and hit from 19. 14-3. Lytle breaks into the secondary. Rob Lytle still on his feet to the 45. Stopped by Willie Buchanan.
Buchanan had to make the tackle, and he had to get rid of Haven Moses in order to do it. Here comes Howard, number 60, pulling. Perrin will cut off inside. And now it's like a scrimmage play back at Ann Arbor. And he follows blocks well. There's Moses working on Buchanan, and somehow the cornerback made an excellent defensive play.
It is Rob Lytle. And you saw how he has been successful today. 12 carries for 85 yards. There is Lonnie Perrin breaking into the Packers secondary momentarily before Mike Douglas stopped him.
Lonnie Perrin to the 49-yard line of the Packers. Tackle made by Douglas.
Red Miller continues to shuffle his running backs back and forth.
They go to Detroit for Thanksgiving, the Broncos do. At Oakland, Kansas City, and finish up against Pittsburgh.
It's a nice way to end the year.
Maybe your life.
They haven't got any vacation left, do they? 2nd and 4. Just inside the territory of the Packers. Here's Lytle again. He gets around to the outside. Rob Lytle gets near the 40. And another Bronco first down before Johnny Gray gets it.
Paul Howard, the big offensive guard, makes an incredible play. Don't take this wrong, but you are playing with pain at this stage in the season, and 60 always seems to do it. Watch it with the right part of your screen now. He'll go outside and seal it off. It keeps Luke from getting into the pursuit.
LA and San Francisco are now tied at 28 apiece. Dave Preston, one of the running backs, and Craig Morton drops the throw. Going for Dalvin. He just led him to the outside a little too much. Mike McCoy back on the coverage, but Dalvin had a step or two.
Really a tough angle to catch the ball, though. Looking back up first over your right shoulder and then trying to go to the left. Pretty tight spiral. That ball was whizzed.
Oakland now 27-14 over Detroit. 10 minutes and 50 seconds left to play in that Los Angeles-San Francisco game. And it's 28-all. Paul Hofer has scored 3 touchdowns for San Francisco.
Denver has 326 yards total offense now. They've really come out in the second half.
Perrin and Lytle. And it will be Lytle again. And Rob Lytle swings to the outside before Steve Luke can tackle him. Flag is down.
Whole left side of the line got out in front. Claudia Minor and all of them that time just took off and blocked.
Lytle doesn't have the great speed. He's got good speed. And as Tom Brookshire told you before, he follows those blockers extremely well. That's the Packers. Lytle is now up to 100 yards and 14 carries.
Let's see if we can pick it up. Here's Lytle. Look at some of these blocks. Packers are trying to get into the flow.
Foul, 78 defense, late hit out of bounds, first down.
Ezra Johnson with the right uppercut.
That's frustration.
That missed. Yeah, it is. You're right. That's what Lytle's done. It'll be first down, Denver, at the Packer 20. Lonnie Perrin and Dave Preston. The setbacks is Riley Odoms. Makes a last-minute change. Hand off to Perrin, straight ahead, another flag.
Brett Miller calls all the offensive plays from upstairs and out to the field, but I'll tell you, Craig Morton has run the team very well today, considering they really had their load of these yellow flags falling.
Right.
I lost track how many people were in motion and set that time myself.
There were a few. There's the Denver coaching staff, which includes Red Miller, Marv Braden, Joe Collier, Ken Gray, Stan Jones, Richie McCabe, Vito Babe Pirelli,
Illegal formation, offense, still first down.
Fran Polsfoot, Paul Roach, and Bob Seaman. Got some good help.
He's the kind of guy that would hire the best he can get his hands on, though. No ego problem with Red Miller, I'll tell you that.
Not at all.
He wants to be fair, but he wants to win.
First and 15. Hand off to Otis Armstrong. Another flag goes down. Mike Douglas made the tackle on Otis. But
I think they're going to call Paul Howard for clipping Luke, the safety man. Luke really is, the Ohio State guy, really plays the run extremely well, and he was up waiting for Otis Armstrong and got clipped. He made 9 tackles last week.
And secondary was awfully busy. The word on Steve Odom is that he has been taken to the Packer locker room for x-rays on his right leg.
Steve, offense, still first down.
Still first down, but now it's first and 30 for Denver.
For you people that like to see some of the infractions, there is the clip on the safety man. Good call.
Line of scrimmage is the Packer 40. Morton dips straight ahead to Perrin, who struggles for 1 or 2. For Terry Jones and Michael Hunt make the tackle. They're the penalty so far today. Denver 10 times for 96 yards. Green Bay 6 for 45.
And all kinds.
Yeah. Everything.
Were his hands under or were they not under?
It is cold in Denver.
He's got a little warm-up sweatshirt there, doesn't he, where he can put his hands. He and Haven Moses, I noticed, had some too.
Little pockets in front of the jerseys.
Go to Vail and go skiing, right?
Again, it's Lonnie Perrin. He gets down inside the 35 before Mike Butler again leads the defensive charge. Perrin a little slow getting up. Butler gave him a boost. Larry Canada replaced him. Like he hurt his right shoulder.
There's still a lot of this season left, too.
Yeah. 4 more games to go.
In the playoffs.
Extra playoff week 2. Craig Morton just 12 out of 16 so far. Facing a 3rd down situation now with certainly adequate protection. He is high. Intended for Preston. No flag this time.
McCoy was playing the corner and came back in from the sidelines to play the short zone and was going for the ball, so the official allowed it to go on. Good call there.
Bucky Dilts comes in. Denver punter. Back deep for the Packers. Number 24 is Johnny Gray. Lights have been on for a long time. Green Bay scored first on a 19-yard field goal by Chester Marcol. It was 3-0 at the half. But the Broncos came out a different football team in the second half. Dilts. Johnny Gray's going to let it bounce. And the Broncos down it. Morris Harvey was back to knock it back. And so we have 4 minutes and 24 seconds now left to play. 14-3 the score still.
I always thought my first trip home would feel just like a dream, but I can't shake the memories inside.
If you join the people who've joined the Army, you'll become part of something that becomes a big part of you.
Strength and satisfaction and the help of friends who care. They're memories, they're yours to keep, they're mine to keep and share.
When I press this button, a new era in photography begins. Polaroid introduces Sonar Automatic Focusing. This camera sends out inaudible sound waves that bounce off the subject and return in a split second. The lens automatically rotates to perfect focus. You can get a precisely focused picture every time in minutes at the touch of one button. The new Sonar One Steps from Polaroid, the world's simplest camera.
Packers own the football, but they've got a tough job ahead of them. They trailed Denver 14-3. Whitehurst fakes the raw play. There's going to be tackled in the end zone for safety, I believe. Yes, sir. Barney Chavis and Lyle Alzado, the two defensive ends, converge.
Whitehurst is trying to hit Turdell Middleton, number 34, to the left of the screen. He's just fanning to the sidelines. Here's where it breaks down. Where does Alzado come from? Right up the middle. They ran a twist where the defensive end comes up the pipe.
That makes the score 16-3. Whitehurst tackled in the end zone by Lyle Alzado. Green Bay will not only give up the 2 points, they'll have to give up the football right now. David Beverly is checked in. So they will punt it after this safety.
Denver's defense really claws, don't they? They scratch and just keep banging away at you. That's something happens.
Pressure. Denver tied with Oakland for the lead in the AFC's Western Division. Both with records of 7-4 starting this day. Oakland was comfortably ahead of Detroit before. Looks like Denver will win this one. So they would be 8-4.
Patch, you have to be careful on this free kick because it's just like a kickoff and the ball is live. So Denver has to make sure they get possession and keep it.
Once it goes 10 yards, it's anybody's. Charlie West will be the single safety man back for the Broncos. The high kick will be handled by Charlie West. Got a little alley, and West gets back down into Packer territory to the 39-yard line. He's stopped by Paul Rudzinski.
Gets to the 39-yard line.
Next week, the regional games on CBS. Los Angeles at Cleveland, New Orleans against Atlanta, And the Giants up in Buffalo. That's next Sunday. Minnesota, Green Bay also. Big one. Philadelphia, St. Louis. Cardinals tough on everybody. Philadelphia beat the Giants today. And Tampa Bay, Chicago. They both won today. Larry Canada and Rob Lytle, the running backs. Lytle already over 100 yards. He gave some of that back right then. He slips down. Barzalauskas comes over to make the stop.
Well, that big Butler really played at number 77. He took Riley Odoms and sort of threw him back into the running back. I think the Denver team only had 10 men on that free kick situation.
Still worked pretty well.
Just think if Upchurch had been back there catching that thing. A healthy Upchurch, I mean.
Three and a half minutes left to play. Second and 11. The Packer 40. Craig Morton is quarterbacked all the way. Otis Armstrong almost broke away, but stayed safely in the grasp. Steve Luke, Gary Weaver.
There are some hard feelings being established on the line of scrimmage. Somebody is taking a little shot at the other one on each play now.
Oakland 29, Detroit now 17. Phil Filippiano tackled Gary Danielson in the end zone, and the Raiders got a safety. Denver has 199 yards rushing on the day as Morton looks. And Denver takes a timeout. I believe they had just one left.
Good time to call it, though. Now you want to really decide what you're going to do with less than 3 minutes.
Oh, the score remains. The Broncos 16, Green Bay Packers 3 with that much time remaining.
We're here to remove this dead tree with a Skill Saw brand chainsaw. It's solid state for easy starts, light and controllable, with patented anti-vibration handles and an exclusive inertia chain brake system that works when others won't. Plus, skill, quality, and dependability won't let you down. Skill Saw chainsaws. To do it with confidence, do it with skill. And the exclusive inertia chain brake system that works when others won't.
You're seeing some real tough truck pounding. At Ford's Arizona Proving Ground, we've been testing body and suspension components over a tough durability course for more than 20 years. Truck jarring bumps, mud baths, salt baths, frame twists, uphill poundings. And Ford pickups with twin I-beam suspension are built tough to take it. In fact, Ford test trucks got over 1 million test miles last year. Tough Fords. America's best-selling pickups.
Get ready for Bobby Vinton's Rock and Rollers with Penny Marshall, Eric Estrada, and more. It's dance, it's roller skating, it's madness like Grease on Wheels. Coming November 20th.
Third down, Denver. Craig Morton calls it. Gives to Lytle. And Lytle, still running, has the Denver first down. Johnny Gray took the full brunt of that. Rob Lytle now well over 100 yards on the day.
The man in motion coming to your left, as you saw Moses, took the right cornerback McCoy out of this play. They ran back to the weak side. And Lytle just keeps pumping in there. Hard tackle by Johnny Gray. Lytle with 110 yards.
And how many carries? 16?
16 carries.
Craig Morton lets it run down till the 2-minute notification, and he comes over to the sideline. Denver Broncos in command of this contest by the score of 16-3.
When you break horses for a living, the worst part is knowing they might break you first. Once you've done your job, the best part is knowing you've turned a terrified animal into a horse a man can count on. And now comes Miller time. Time time to ease off and head for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855.
When it's time to relax, one beer stands clear. Miller Beer. You got the time, we got the beer. Miller Beer.
Denver has a first down with 2 minutes left to play. They lead 16-3 over the Packers. Packers situation is not too much worse because Minnesota also lost today. Their record dropping to 7-5, and that's what the Packers will be. Armstrong, the ball carrier. And the Packers now call a timeout. Lytle checks back in.
Packers had 81 yards rushing at halftime and have 83 yards total now. Could that possibly be right?
There is Bart Starr.
Second half.
Pardon me? 16-3 the score.
Show you what can happen when my picture leaves the broadcaster's control room. My color can change as my picture travels through transmission lines, satellites, and TV towers. So every GE VIR television uses computer-like circuitry to adjust my color on many programs according to the broadcaster's VIR color signal, automatically. This is GE Performance Television.
Denver operating now on second down. 7 from the Packer 22. Craig Morton gives to Canada. Canada cuts back inside the 20 before Mike Butler took him down.
Saw a lot of that hog bite at that time. It looked like the handoff was. Is that Moore and one of the defensive Packers having a little trouble? Ezra Johnson again, huh? Ezra's fired up. If you're not a little bit crazy, you can't play defense anyway in this league, you know?
Especially when it's cold.
Bob Seaman.
Miller, Bob Seaman looking on. Packers take another timeout. And we'll be.
Here they come.
This year, you want to give your family a holiday to remember.
It's a puppy! It's a puppy!
That's why you should remember Beneficial. Because Beneficial wants to lend you the full amount you have in mind to give your family all the good things they deserve.
I love Santa.
Me too.
Phone Beneficial for your holiday loan today.
Red Miller with this one pretty well salted away. Will stay tied with Oakland for the lead. Here's Otis Armstrong straight ahead. He will not have a first down. Sandy Grossman has been our most able director today. Chuck Milton, the producer. And that's always a joy to be able to say.
Yeah, we'd like to really say that the fellow in the orange barrel down there with the hat, he's not a CBS person or anything. He really just came that way. That's the way he always comes to the games.
A minute and 40 seconds left to play here. The latest word on that game in Los Angeles is that it's tied at 28-28 between the Rams and 49ers. I beg your pardon, that's at San Francisco. Rob Lytle has just enjoyed his first 100-yard game, not only this year, but as a pro. It's been a good one for him.
Anyone for Atari?
She beat me again?
The Atari video computer system is 20 cartridges with 1,300 game variations you play on your own TV set.
Morton calling on fourth down, and the pitch is back to Otis Armstrong, who is near a first down, but not quite, I don't believe. Hit by Gary Weaver. As a fourth down play.
Lytle, by the way, came in with 133 yards total for the whole season and has the 100-yard day right here against a pretty darn good football team, too. The Packers have hit.
Don't forget scores and highlights after this game is over as we switch you back to the NFL today. And they'll be checking on that 28-28 tie between the Rams and 49ers. Not a first down. And the Packer offensive unit is on the field. Whitehurst, the quarterback. They have 1 minute and 29 seconds left to play. To Thompson, who is whacked between the two defenders for Denver. One was Joe Rizzo, I believe.
Godwin Turk helped on that tackle, too.
Whitehurst in a hurry. Again, same pattern. Same receiver, Thompson.
Takes a little guts after you've been shelled on that first pass play to call the same one and take it again.
Clock still going. Larry Evans made the tackle. As the Broncos with their backup defensive group, including Bryson Manor and Paul Smith and Don Latimer, take their time getting back. That's Lofton. Kept his feet inbounds and challenged the defender a little bit. Lewis Wright.
Maybe not this year, but even Lombardi's Packers didn't come all at once. Bart Starr's done a heck of a job with this team.
They keep after it, don't they?
Yeah, and they've got a pretty tough closing 4 games. Minnesota, Tampa Bay, Chicago, and then the Rams for the final one.
You look at the standings in the Central Division. The leaders have lost 5 games. Minnesota and Green Bay. So Tampa Bay certainly not out of it. Neither is Detroit. Picked off. That's Godwin Turk. Back to the 48. David Whitehurst, the quarterback, made the tackle.
It's the second interception for Godwin Turk. Came out of there like a fullback with it, didn't he?
Whitehurst's day is probably over. He is 8 out of 16 for 131 yards. Denver with a victory over the Packers. 2 teams that don't meet very often. In fact, this is just the 4th, I believe.
Imagine the Packers won, what, 7 of their first 8 football games this year. But really not against this caliber. Broncos, pretty good football team.
Packers have not beaten a team with a winning record all year. At the 48 with 30 seconds to go. They'll just take their good time. Morton kneels down. There's another little engagement going on.
It's Moore and Luke again.
Clock stopped with 23 seconds left to play. Ever seen anybody really get hurt in a football fight?
Not if you can pull them apart fast enough.
That's right. All that equipment on. That ought to just about do it. Clock running with 9 seconds now. The Denver Broncos head for the locker room. Craig Morton with a game ball. Heading in. 16-3. This is Pat Summerall for Tom Brookshire saying goodbye from Mile High Stadium in Denver. Well, now we take you to CBS Sports Control in New York.
All right, thank you very much, Pat Summerall. Back live in New York, I am Brent Musburger. We have just had this drama unfold. The Los Angeles Rams have just missed a field goal that would have put them ahead. With 2 minutes to go, San Francisco and Los Angeles are tied at 28. We will show you highlights from a game that has developed into one of the finest of the afternoon. Then we will keep you up to date as the last 2 minutes of this contest unfold. Here's a screen pass. The Rams trailing late in the first half, and John Cappelletti goes 37 yards to the 1, and from there the Rams tied it at 7-all. Now in the third quarter, Pat Hayden sends Ron Jesse deep to the flag and hits him. It's a beautiful catch by Jesse, 21-7. The Rams appear to be breezy. Then you'll watch here as Scott Bull pulls out. He gets whacked on the blitz, throws to Bob Rudzinski, and the right side linebacker dashes in. It is 28-14 Rams. Next play now, Frank Corral on the kickoff. Watch Dave Williams, number 30 of the San Francisco 49ers from the 11, explode on the left side, catch the sideline, Corral can't knock him out of bounds. He dashes for a touchdown. It is 28-21 now. Rams still lead. But then the Rams fumble. 49ers have got another chance. Watch Paul Hoffer now. He gets down to the 2-yard line with a beautiful run. 36 yards, and the Niners are in business. Here's Hofer again, a determined running back. O.J. Simpson out with an injury. That's how we stand right now, tied at 28. And the NFL Today will continue on CBS in just a moment.
Anyone for Atari?
She beat me again?
The Atari video computer system is 20 cartridges with 1,300 game variations you play on your own TV set.
Atari, they tell me you're fast.
Don't watch television tonight. Play it.
The 49ers coming out from the 20. Nothing going on at this moment, so let's get you up to date on all the other scores. These games in progress. In the fourth, Steelers lead the Bengals, who have kicked 2 field goals by a point. And, of course, the drama in San Francisco this afternoon. Freddie O'Connor trying to win with the beleaguered 49ers. Meanwhile, the contest that you watched in Mile High Stadium, Denver wins, and suddenly the Packer-Viking game next Sunday looms awfully important to both teams. Oakland still in progress, having no trouble now. The Lions, even though they are improved, are not in the same class with the Raiders. The next game, this drama unfolded. Tony Reed fumbled for Kansas City, going across the goal line as time ran out, so Seattle wins it by 3 points. Cleveland today, 3 touchdown passes from Brian Sipe to Calvin Hill of 53, 37, and 23 yards. The Browns' record now 6-6. The Dallas Cowboys erupt. They beat New Orleans 27-7. Robert Newhouse suffers a hairline fracture. He's okay, though. It's not serious. Chicago wins for the first time in 9 games, but Walter Payton is held to 34 yards and 20 carries. Avellini replaces the injured Phipps. Now, San Diego and Minnesota. Not a chance in the world that a team coming out of Southern California can do anything in Bloomington, Minnesota when the weather looks like this. The Chargers and the staff reaching for the gloves. Here now is Fran Tarkenton to the former Charger. Young, and they go up on the board with 7 points. No trouble at all. Meanwhile, look at the woes hitting the Chargers. Can't hold on to the frozen football, but it rolls out of the end zone. It's a touchback now, and it came out. And back, Pouts can't even stand up late in the game. That right there is the winning touchdown pass to Roy Jefferson. All right, 19-17. Patriots down the Jets. Leahy misses a field goal from the 35 with time running out in that football game. Buffalo and Tampa Bay, as the Greek says, Buffalo cannot win on natural grass. 31-10, the Buccaneers roll in that contest. St. Louis upsets Washington. The Redskins and the Dallas Cowboys now tied for first in the NFC East, and we'll be back with that game on Thanksgiving Day. Philadelphia over the Giants, 19-17. You won't believe how that game ended this afternoon in the Meadowlands. They were down to their last play. Everyone in the huddle now says all they told the quarterback, Joe Pisarcik, was to fall on the football. But Joe Pisarcik did not fall on the football, and we'll be back with that as the NFL Today continues on CBS in just a moment.
Cast iron where you need it for strength and accuracy. Hardened gears and ball-bearing construction for long life and dependability. Heavy-duty motors with power to spare. Rockwell builds tools that way for a reason. Because a power tool is only as good as the job it can do and just how long it can do it. Rockwell, your work can't afford anything less.
Last night, this guy sent a package by Federal Express. And if it doesn't get there overnight, he's in big trouble. This guy is waiting for the package 2,000 miles away. And if it doesn't get here this morning, he's in bigger trouble. Obviously, these guys have never used Federal Express before. But it's just like everything else. How can you have confidence in something until you try it and find out if it works?
You got it?
I got it.
Got it?
I got it.
Got it?
Got it. Federal Express, when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight.
Still nothing going on. 1:38 in San Francisco, tied at 28 between the Rams and the 49ers. Now the play you won't believe. In the huddle, they told him to fall on the ball, but he didn't. He went to hand it off. The Eagles scoop up the fumble and dash in. Jane, would you believe this play?
Right here, you can see that he should have fell on it. He didn't seem to be able to get a hold of the snap. And 46 does run into the end zone, and that was the winning touchdown.
So the Eagles stay alive in their drive for the playoffs. Look at Coach Dick Vermeil on the sidelines, how happy he is. We have just heard that owner Robert Irsay of the Baltimore Colts has fired every assistant on the staff and has said that head coach Teddy Marchibroda can stay on. Honest, that's what the wires are saying right now. Greek, what about Washington and Dallas on Thanksgiving?
The Cowboys are riding now. It's Dallas by 10.
Dallas big, the Greek says, and we hope you'll join us on Thanksgiving afternoon. We've run out of time. The 49ers have punted, and the Rams are coming back. They're still tied at 28, and of course, your CBS affiliate will keep you up to date later tonight on the news. So for Jane Kennedy, Irv Cross, and Jimmy the Greek, I'm Brent Musburger, and we hope that you've enjoyed the NFL Today on CBS.
The NFL Today is a presentation of CBS Sports. Be Watching as a dedicated newspaper editor takes an eye-opening look at what life in a ghetto school is really like when the Reverend Jesse Jackson makes a surprise appearance in Lou Grant tomorrow night on CBS.